Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can tell, I am not at home, I'm in a hotel, but I thought I would want to do this video just because I actually did a Instagram Q&A on obviously my Instagram, and someone actually said how to deal with anxiety, and I obviously have dealt with anxiety before, but a different sort of anxiety as you would probably think. To be honest, I have no idea how common this sort of anxiety is, but it's one I had. So I thought, you know what, it's best just to share it. I actually filmed a YouTube video all on this topic, and it was actually when I was still going through it. So at the time, obviously it was all in my head as well, that I thought, I'm being dramatic and I probably shouldn't share that on my YouTube, just because I obviously was still going through it, and I actually thought there was actually still things wrong with me. Right, let me just get into what sort of anxiety it was. So it was actually health anxiety. So you might know that as hypochondria, but I don't think it's called that anymore. When the doctor actually diagnosed me, it was health anxiety. But obviously I knew that as hypochondria. So you would say to like your friend, oh, you're being a hypochondriac, because obviously it's one of those anxieties that people don't sort of take the mick out of, but like you can easily just say it to be over dramatic to your friend, you know, like if your friend's saying, oh my god, this is happening, they're like, oh my god, you're such a hypochondriac, when actually it is actually a thing. But anyway, I thought I would tell you all about my experience with health anxiety and sort of go a bit more into it, just because there's only so much I can say on an Instagram story before people that aren't interested just think, right, can you talk about something else? But I thought, let's put it all into one video, and then the people that are interested can click on this video and see. I'm so sorry about this background. There's actually a fire exit information going on over there, but yeah, I just thought, let's just do it, why not? So I guess this is sort of like a story time as well, because it'll be me probably talking about how I got it and then everything else. I'm gonna try and remember exactly like everything, but obviously it went on for a long time. Well, it didn't actually go on for as long as people have it for, like other people. I think it probably, all in all, probably went on for, so it started in summer and then it probably went on till, the weird thing is that I don't remember it ending, which is good. Like, I think recently I've just thought, oh my god, I just don't even have that anymore, which is obviously a really good thing. And it might just be because my mind just obviously changed, and I just didn't think, there wasn't one day that I woke up and I was like, that's it, I don't have it anymore. Probably ended, it probably lasted about 6 months. Actually a bit shorter, because it's January now, maybe like 4 or 5 months. Right, so what happened was in summer, I had a crazy summer, and to be honest, it like completely messed me up. I don't really drink well, I do drink, but like a good way of getting over it was that I stopped drinking here, there, everywhere. I even went to like my friends' birthdays, for example, like Chloe's birthday. I remember that was quite like a big one, where I went there and I was the only one who wasn't drinking. I was having non-alcoholic shots just because it was at that time where it was very fragile, as in like it could have just started straight away again. So I just wanted to stop drinking. My doctor actually said it's probably good if you stop drinking for a bit, because it's quite a big stimulant. But right, so what happened was I was on holiday and I was dancing on a table with my mum, and it was a 5-foot table, I want to say, and I was standing up and I was dancing away, and then the table like collapsed, and I grabbed my mum, because obviously just instinct, you just grab your mum, and my mum actually had a bruised rib, but it actually went within a few weeks, which is good. But because obviously I was grabbing my mum, I didn't have something to put my hand down, and I basically smacked my head quite a lot. Like, it actually really hurt at the time, and I had like an instant lump on my head, but I didn't think anything of it. I just wanted to go back to the villa. I was just in a really, really like weird mood. Obviously I've just fallen from a table and apparently the music stopped and everything, but I can't even remember that, which is weird. I don't think I passed out, but I think it was all a bit of a blur. So the next day I was like fine. I actually remember my brother's girlfriend taking a picture of me on my Instagram, and you could just see the bump, but I actually remember being like absolutely fine. But then the next day after that, all I wanted to do was be in a dark room and with the lights off and just literally lie there. And that is so unlike me. I was like, what the hell is going on? I typed up stuff online and it was like, you're obviously concussed. Obviously do not type things up online, but in this situation I was like, what is going on with me? Obviously my head really, really hurt, but I didn't really have a headache. I mean, it hurt to touch, but there was no like headache. And then my family were like, oh, you're being dramatic. Mum was like, oh, you're fine. And I was like, no, Mum, genuinely, I was just really weird. Obviously didn't drink for the rest of the holiday. And then obviously I flew home. And then, so when I came back, I would get like really bad migraines. Before this, I don't really get headaches, as in like my friends, some of them carry around like this thing called forehead, where like you put on your head and you've got like headaches, and it's just something that they have to bring along with them because they always get migraines or headaches. I was never that person. I never got headaches, and it was like really, really, really bad migraines, like genuinely to the point I was crying. It hurt that much, and I would go to sleep and I couldn't go to sleep, and I was just, it was awful. So that was like the start of me being like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I then started getting the concussed, obviously, symptoms, which don't happen straight away, which is why on holiday I was sort of fine the next day, and the day after, obviously, my concussed symptoms were starting. But what would happen is that I would get pins and needles all up my arm, as in like not just my hand, literally the whole arm, both arms, and I would also get it in my legs. All up my legs, and sometimes I would just have lingering pins and needles in my foot for like half an hour, which obviously is not normal, and that with the migraines and everything, it's not a good combination. So yeah, that was sort of like when I came back from holiday, and I just thought, I'm obviously really badly concussed. And my mum was like, you're just concussed, it's absolutely fine. And then I went one time, oh yeah, so whenever I would have a drink, I couldn't see. So honestly, it sounds ridiculous. So I would have it, so I'd be at the, for example, I'd be at the pub with my friends and they would all be having a glass of wine, like nothing crazy, literally. That's what me and my friends do. We meet at the pub and we literally have one glass of wine and we just talk and then we leave. So we were all just having a glass of wine, and my vision started going really weird, and that I had a drink before that, and I did have the same symptoms, but I thought it would have gone. And I would be looking at them across the table and they would just be like a blur. It would be so weird, like genuinely, I'd be talking to my friends, they'd be a blur, I'd have pins and needles, I'd have a headache. So I thought, like, obviously there's something worse going on. I hadn't been checked out, so I was like, okay, this could be bad. And my friends were like, have you been seen by a doctor? I was like, no. So anyway, this is when I started getting really panicky, because then I'd be like, oh my God, there's something really worse. So I was actually going to go on a holiday with my friend Brooke, like 3 or 4 days after that. And Brooke was like, right, we need to get you sorted out before you go on holiday, because you're literally going to be stressed out on holiday. It was like a thing where I couldn't go to sleep because I was so worried. It was constant worry. I wouldn't say it was health anxiety at this point. It was literally just worrying, because I thankfully have been a very healthy person up until this point. For example, when I was younger, I slit my lip, like stuff like that. Nothing where I think, actually, you know what, this could be serious. And when you type things up online, when you're in that situation, they say like, oh, you've got a brain bleed, or you've got something else or whatever. And genuinely, you actually believe it. Like, I was looking at all these symptoms of a brain bleed and I was like, I've got that. So for example, I'm just looking at like brain bleed symptoms, and this is exactly what was going through my head. So I had sudden or severe headaches. Definitely, they happened suddenly. Like it would just be like a sudden thing that just came out of nowhere, and I'd think, oh, why is this happening to me again? And then obviously I'd have weakness, tingling or numbness in the arms or legs, often on one side. It was often on the left, but it did happen on the right as well. And then I did feel nauseous as well, and obviously changes in vision, changes in balance. So all these things I had. So I did actually think like, oh my God, something's worse. So I went to A&E, and before this I did go to the doctor a couple times as well, and they kept saying, nothing's wrong with you, you're absolutely fine. And yeah, and I just thought they obviously don't understand, which is so bad, because these people are trained people that have gone to medical school for years and years, and there's me saying they obviously don't understand. But it was just the start of my health anxiety, basically. It was just the start of me thinking they don't understand, because there is. So I remember I did leave it like a couple of weeks till I did go to A&E, and then I went to A&E, and the doctor was so lovely. He said, Lucinda, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. We've done all the tests, but you're obviously so worried, so we're going to do a CT scan on your brain. And he said, I'm 99.9% sure that nothing will be there. But yeah, so I did the CT scan, and my friends, they waited for me and stuff, and obviously we know there's such a long wait at the moment because of the NHS. And he came back and he said there's nothing there, and then obviously I went home. And I would be fine for the first hour maybe after coming home. Like I would believe them, I'd be like, there's nothing wrong with me, and then symptoms would just happen again. For example, one time I touched my bump, and I got this really bad pain coming all the way down my neck that lasted for a couple hours, and that was really, really scary. Just because I was just scared. Like, it sounds ridiculous now because I'm out of it, but when you're in that situation and you wake up with a massive migraine and you've got tingling and you've got pains in your neck and this, that and the other, I'm not like a rugby player or like anything like that where I'm used to it and I'm used to being around people that have got the same thing. My vision was weird and I was just so worried. So what happened after that? Oh yeah, so I went on holiday with my friend Brooke, and the whole time I was just really, really worried. And one day, we laugh about it now, but one day I woke up at about 4 o'clock in the morning with a complete numb arm, as in, right, I have never had this before and I haven't had it since, but oh my God, it was petrifying. So I woke up and my whole arm, right, so okay, so I've had like a numb arm before. I've had like a tingling arm where you lie on it funny and like that is it and it goes. But oh my God, I woke up, right, and there was no sensitivity in my arm. It was like a dangling thing. Like I couldn't lift it up, I couldn't feel it. So when I was touching it from this arm, this hand, it felt like I couldn't feel the sense from this one, but I could feel it from this. It was such an out-of-body experience. But honestly, you guys would like probably laugh right now because you probably definitely had it as well. But at the time, I was in that state of mind and I was like, oh my God. I woke Brooke up and I was like, Brooke, my arm is completely dead. And then I could feel like a gush of blood coming all the way down my arm, and I could finally, and obviously pins and needles then after that, and I could finally feel it back. And Brooke was like, Lucinda, you need to chill out. And I was like, no. So the whole of Ibiza, we were so excited for that trip. We had it booked, and I just basically, that was only a part of the trip. I was just so ridiculously worried about my health. Like genuinely, it was so bad. Brooke was like, you literally are crazy. And yeah, that was really, really, really petrifying. I was just, I had to, another thing as well, I always checked my pulse. it was like a thing where I'd always check my pulse, I'd always check my heart, which obviously is not normal. But yeah, so I went to that and then I came back and I just felt a bit like still not right. And then one day after, I think shortly after I beat that, I was in my house and my chest was killing, like hurting, like genuinely, like I've never felt anything like it before. I said to my mum, I was really panicking and I was like, Mum, my heart. She was like, Lucinda, what? And I was like, no, genuinely my heart is, like my chest really hurts. And then I had pain in my left arm. Obviously, type that up, immediate heart attack. So I'm like, oh my God. And when you're in that sort of situation where you've got obviously mental things wrong with you as well because of the lead up to it, you actually think that everything is going to lead to death, like even like the littlest things. So I said to my mum, I need to go to A&E, I'm having a heart attack. Like, and Mum was like, what? And I was like, Mum, I'm having a heart attack, I'm having a heart attack. I know I am. And my mum was like, Lucinda, are you sure? And obviously as a mum, you've got to just be supportive. So she was like, okay, let me get my things and we can go to the hospital. And I was like, Mum, I need to go now. And I was just panicking. I remember getting the keys. I was like, Mum, you're taking too long, I need to go. Because I actually thought I was going to have a heart attack, which is just like actually crazy looking back at it now. And I went to the hospital and they did a ECG scan on me. At the time it was like pain in my throat as well, and it was just pain in my chest where my heart was, which was also a bit worrying, but no, nothing came up. And then I got a call from my doctor who said, oh no, there was other things, right? So that was fine. I obviously did not have anything wrong with my heart. And then I went home and yeah. And then the different things in my body did not stop. And now, since obviously having health anxiety and typing it up, that is exactly what happens. Is you basically, someone fixes not fixes, but they say that something's fine. For example, my head, they say, that's fine, that's it, ticked off, you're absolutely fine in the head. And then you would say, okay, well then your brain would stimulate something else, like your heart. So then you'd go to the A&E and they'd say, no, your heart's fine. So then the next thing after that was my tummy. So my left side of my tummy. I had pain there for a while. And it was also my back, but I'll get onto that. I had pain on my tummy for a while, and so anyway, I had pain on my tummy for a while and it wouldn't go. And then when I was feeling it, there was a part in my tummy that like clicked, and I thought, oh my God, this might be like a broken rib. At the start I thought it was a broken rib, and I went to the doctor and they were like, no. And I even saw a doctor, my local doctor, who used to be a surgeon, and he said, I've seen loads of tummies before and I can promise you yours is all okay, there's no lumps or bumps. And honestly, hats off to all the doctors and nurses that I saw, because at the time I was genuinely thinking I was really ill, like genuinely anything as well. And so I saw that, and then it just wouldn't stop, like the pain in my tummy just wouldn't stop. And I was really worried then I had like a lump of like a certain disease. I was so ridiculously worried. Also had irregular periods, which I was really worried about, because then also with the pain in my tummy and the irregular periods, I was like, right, what is going on? So I had a CT scan on my tummy as well, and again, all came back absolutely fine. So they gave me pain relief that didn't really work, but this lasted at least a few weeks. So all these symptoms was like, obviously they were nothing, but they did last a while. And before this head thing, I never had anything, which was just so weird. And it just makes me think, was it just my brain and the health anxiety thinking all this stuff? And yeah, so another time, so shortly after I would then get like, all through this as well, I had headaches as well. After my tummy pain, when I was actually doing my Beauty Works Halloween shoot, so this was in September or the start of October, I can't actually remember, I had really bad back pain. And right, so the camera actually ran out of charge, so if this looks slightly different, I'm trying to get it as straight as possible. Right, what I was saying and where I was up to is that so I was on a shoot, and I'm actually drinking sparkling water, which is slightly different today. So different for me. I was on a shoot and I had a really bad back pain, and again, normal sort of thing that everyday people get, not necessarily people that are really, really ill, just sort of an everyday thing that people get. And for me, it had gone on for a couple of days, and I was with Millie and obviously the Beauty Works girls, and I was just so worried about my back. And it went on for a couple of days, and then the night that the shoot finished, me and Millie actually planned to stay in London another night and go out for dinner, and it was actually the night that unfortunately the Queen died. I remember that because we were going to go out for dinner, and obviously we cancelled it because we were too upset, and yeah, didn't seem right. So that night we just had a really chilled night, and I had really bad back pain, but I remember thinking it's fine when I lie down. And then through the night I went to sleep, and I sort of woke up really early in the middle of the night, like literally about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was so worried. I started crying. I didn't know what to do. I obviously didn't wake Millie up. I went into the other room, because this room that we stayed in had 2 bedrooms. I went into the other room, and I was trying to lie in a place where it was comfortable, and then I was looking at the closest sort of doctors to me because I was so worried about my back. I didn't know what it was. It was sort of like where my spine was as well, which was obviously really, really worrying, and for me at the time anyway. And then I went home. I woke Millie up at about 8, and I said, I'm going home. I've been up for like ages, worrying sick, and this was sort of at the time where I had to stop myself from going to an A&E, because I just knew obviously it would be silly if I went to A&E again. But then again, like, I wanted to because I was so worried. It was like a sharp pain in my spine. And it still to this day confuses me that I had things, like constant things wrong with me that just didn't stop, and I just don't have them anymore, which is so interesting, because I wonder whether, again, like I've said before, if it was just all in my head. At the time I didn't know I had obviously health anxiety, but I went home and I remember just crying to my mum, panicking, trying to breathe, and I think my mum even nearly started crying. She was like, you're panicking me. And that is when I thought, okay, this is getting quite serious, because I don't know, it just wasn't a great time, like, in my life, because I was just it had gone on for a while now, and it was just getting a bit much. So I went to go see my doctor about my pain in my back, and they felt my back and they said, no, you're fine. And I said, it's just in my spine. And she said, okay. And she felt down all of my spine, and I remember the lady, and she said, no, your spine is fine. So then I went home, and I spent 3 whole days in bed. I basically just was in bed. For the first day, I actually couldn't move. I was just in bed in a particular position, and my mum just basically looked after me, and I just wasn't in a good way. I think mentally and physically, I don't know what the hell was going on with me at that time in my life, but I genuinely thought I had something really, really bad for me. And then obviously the side tummy pains carried on. But yeah, that was just like another situation. So at this point, I thought I had something wrong with my head, and then I thought I had something with my heart and my chest, and then I thought I had something with my side tummy, and then I thought I had something with my back. So if you type up, obviously, health anxiety, you will know that this is pretty common, where you basically go through your body and at the time you think it's something really, really severe. It's not just back pain, it's not just chest pain, it's not just a headache. You actually think, oh my God, I'm dying. And that is just absolutely crazy, and that is just exactly what I had. So anyway, time went on and I was still quite worried. Oh, by this time I went to the doctor and she actually put me on anti-anxiety pills. So she put me on medication, she diagnosed me, and I had appointments with her every couple weeks, just to check up on me and see how I'm feeling. She said, go see a therapist and you'll be absolutely fine. She said, not if you see a therapist you'll be fine, but just you'll be absolutely fine. You're not going to die, you'll be fine. And you know what? It sounds so crazy. Like, I just never thought I would ever be in that position for someone to put me on medication, and it was like an actual thing. I remember typing up every single day different conditions and different things that could be wrong with me, if I ever had any pain anywhere. I actually remember one time as well, I was just chilling, watching TV, and I had like a severe pain in my right arm where like the vein is. It'd be interesting to see if yeah, so in my right arm, like there's like a vein that like you can see a bit more, but that is completely normal. Like, that is so normal in like veins. There's certain veins that you can see more and like all that. So and I just had a stinging, like strong stinging pain in my vein. And I remember I was actually not in the country at the time, and I was so worried and I couldn't go to sleep. I had an ice pack on it, and to this day I don't know what that was. And that went on for like a couple days, and it would just flare up a bit. But it was just so weird that like, and then that would make me think I've got a blood clot, or I've got something else, or it's saying, oh, it could be dangerous because that means that your veins, your blood is not going to your heart. And I'm like, genuinely, it was just a circle, like a massive circle. And that was just like a big thing where like I was trying to call doctors in that country, and I was just worried. And yeah, but obviously that went as well. Obviously in that time in my life, it went on for months, and I was really worried about all these different sort of things. I thought the anxiety had gone. So the prescriptive drug that she prescribed me, okay, this video really doesn't want to happen right now, but I am making it happen. So I am filming on my phone, so I'm so sorry if the quality's just changed. My memory has just run out on my camera, and I don't have any SIM cards around at the moment. Right, so, oh yeah, so I thought that obviously it would have changed. I don't even know where to look here because I'm doing it on my camera. I thought it would have changed, thought it would have obviously gone, but an incident actually happened last week where I'm so quite annoyed at myself, but you should never be annoyed at yourself. But you're in that position, you're a bit like, oh, I thought it had gone. But I basically it literally sounds crazy. I ate a grenade bar, like this protein bar, and I got some of it stuck in my throat. And I went into full panic mode. I basically started crying again, and I thought I couldn't breathe. And when you have a panic attack, which I've only actually had a few times since having this, it's mainly just anxiety. Obviously, anxiety does lead to a panic attack, but I haven't luckily had too many of them. But they're horrible if you do suffer from panic attacks. Your throat basically feels like it isn't actually closing up, it feels like it closes up. So because obviously the panic of me having something in my throat and my throat obviously closing up because of it, you start shaking. It's really not very nice. It's just literally a state of panic, and it's your body doing the fight or flight, which I actually learned about in science, which is so weird, but because I obviously remember doing it. But yeah, you basically just go in panic mode, and my throat really hurt, and we were in a car going somewhere, and I basically panicked so much and I wanted to go see someone, and I did. And the man was so lovely, and he said, "You are absolutely fine." And he just said, "Don't see anyone, just relax." And I've tried doing like breathing exercises and getting anxiety apps and everything like that, but to be honest, I actually thought I was at the end of it. I thought like, oh, it's definitely gone, like I'm not going to like do anything about it now. But yeah, obviously that just goes to show it does obviously happen sometimes when you think it's gone, and that is absolutely fine. It's all just a process, and we all go through it. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you have good days. I had good days up until that point for a very long time, and that just goes to show sometimes things just don't go automatically, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, that was obviously quite worrying. It's really not nice, and at the time I had something in my throat and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Obviously I could, I was not choking, but then you type things up and it says this amount of people die from choking, and that's the only thing you can think about. But yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely mad. Another thing actually that I forgot to obviously mention about, I knew I was going to do this because sometimes obviously a lot of the things happened in one sort of space of time, but I knew that obviously I was going to forget about certain things. One thing happened is that I went on holiday with Millie and Chloe in Ibiza, and on the way back in Ibiza airport, I had my very first panic attack. That was actually sort of at the start. Yeah, it was awful. I was lying there, I thought I couldn't breathe, I thought I needed a paramedic. I was shaking, I was really struggling to breathe, I had pain in my neck, and there's no other way to put it than just the fact that you think that you're going to die from suffocation, like genuinely. And I was just going over to a man saying, is there a person here that can help me? And they said there isn't actually any paramedics or anything actually in the terminal, and I'd have to leave the airport. And obviously at the time, Millie and Chloe were like, come on Lucinda, we're gonna go home. We were literally so tired, and I was just full-blown panic attack mode. And it calmed down, and it actually bruised, I'm pretty sure it bruised my neck, because the pain in my neck didn't go until a few days after. I still had pain in my neck, and I could still feel that lump in my neck for a few days after. And I actually went up to London once and to go, oh no, I was actually going to Manchester to go and meet my manager, because she was coming up to Manchester with me, and I ended up having a panic attack on the train as well. That was literally like a few days after, so that wasn't really good at all. I literally was about to ask someone next to me if they can help me, because then I thought, I don't know if that's like, I was really concentrating on my breathing. I said to my manager at the time, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm either having a panic attack or I can't breathe. And she was like, it's fine, it's fine. And that was actually, so all of this actually happened before I got diagnosed, because I went to see a lovely lady in London, and she said, have you ever thought about like having anxiety? And I said, no. And she said, I could almost put my bets on the fact that you have anxiety. And she said, it's fine. She looked at my throat and she said, there's nothing in your throat. It looks inflamed and that's it. And she said, that is probably from panic attacks. And I said, well, yeah, probably. And then I went to Manchester with my manager, and then in Manchester airport, I had like another mini panic attack. So that was like the peak. I think that was like the very peak, because I don't know whether it like stimulated another one. I don't know how it happens in my brain, but it was so crazy. And I didn't post about it, even though it took a lot of time out of my life, and it was like a big thing in my life that I wasn't showing you guys. Sorry if this is like moving up and down, it's because I'm using my phone on this tripod and I don't think it's 4 phones. It was like a big time in my life where like it would be all I could think about 24/7, but I was still obviously posting on Instagram and posting on TikTok and stuff and sort of acting like it wasn't happening. But at the time, I didn't think it was anxiety for a very, very long time. I actually thought, obviously, I thought there was something wrong with me. That is what health anxiety is. So until someone says you've got this and you need, or not you need, but like, do you want medication, blah, 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 and until you start believing that is that as well, I didn't really want to share it with everyone because I actually thought obviously there was something wrong with me. That's the whole thing for it. So that is basically what it was. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else. Obviously there was blips and stuff that I actually can't remember. I didn't write anything down on my notes or anything. To be honest, that whole part of my life was all a bit of a blur. I actually stopped taking the medication. Oh, another time, quickly, before we end, I'm just thinking of different other times. I actually went to Ibiza for Chloe's birthday with all Chloe's friends and Millie, and that was as well a really, really bad experience. I remember crying one of the days. I was just crying and everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And I just said to them, I've got literally the worst anxiety ever at the moment. But a few of the people there were really, really helpful and they helped me. Yeah, it's just not nice. It takes up so much of your time and so much of your energy every single day that you just want to just stay in bed, basically. I just wanted to stay in bed. I thought that was the easiest and safest thing to do. Some days I was like, that is literally the safest thing to do. And I am so happy that I'm on the other side of it now. And the best thing to do when you are suffering from anxiety is just being with the people that care for you the most and don't judge you. I feel like it's especially with health, well, any anxiety, it's so easy for people to think you're overreacting, like stop being silly. But it's such a mind thing that unless you've dealt with it before or you're trained in it, you don't really like know exactly what it's like. I guess that is everything. I think I've touched on most things. I'm sure there's things that I've forgotten that when I stop filming this, I'm going to be like, Lucinda, you literally forgot that. But that was like the main sort of parts of it. Mainly that it went on for ages, and now that I'm sort of on the other side of it, fingers crossed, I mean, apart from that blip not long ago, I'm okay. You know what, after having like panic attacks and stuff, all you feel is tired and all you want to do is just go to bed and sleep. So it's quite nice that now through my days, now I'm on the other side of it, I'm much more energetic. Okay, well yeah, I think that is everything, guys. Please let me know if you would want any more videos on this. I mean, my main advice for you, if you're listening to this and you think that is exactly what I have, even if it's not as severe or even more severe, I don't know, I can't tell you guys enough to go see professional people that can help you. That really, really helped me. And even if it was going to help me for a day until it happens again, that day just was so much better. And it's a bit of a breath of fresh air to hear someone say that you're fine, even if in the next couple of days something else happens and you think you're not fine again. At least you've heard that from someone and it sort of helps you. I think go see medical trained people that can help you. Go see therapists. I never actually ended up going to see a therapist. I signed up from this website that my doctor said, but that was through the NHS and there is such a long wait. Never heard back from them. I was put on the waiting list obviously, and I spoke to someone about it and they gave me like this working sheet for obviously health anxiety, but and I did that and everything. It was like homework sort of thing, but like it actually helped, and it was actually quite nice for when I was going through it and I was really like thinking something sort. I sort of did it as in like, it's health anxiety, like genuinely, like you would have to tell yourself it's anxiety. Yeah, so it's really good when you know it's health anxiety, so that means you know what to do and you can understand why your body's acting that certain way, which is obviously the best thing. It's not nice, and I can't speak for those that have other types of anxiety, because thankfully I haven't, and I know I'm really lucky in that way. Even just something like health anxiety I never thought I would have, and I'm really happy I'm on the other side, and I'm actually really happy that I've sort of opened up about it, because I didn't know whether I was going to. Then when I did it on my Instagram story, I thought, you know what, I think I should, and there is footage somewhere of me talking about it before. It's quite nice filming it now that it's over and I can only talk about the past things and not sort of talking about the future, because I remember when I was filming my one before, it was actually sort of mid through it. It was when I was getting the pains in my arm and everything, so, and I know things have happened since, so it's quite nice to do like an overall thing and post now. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this little health anxiety video. Please let me know if you have any questions. As always, my DMs are always open. I've replied to a few of you girls now on my Instagram ever since doing that Q&A, and honestly the response is so nice. And also I just want to let all of you guys know that I did get a lot of people respond, and that obviously that means that we're all not alone, and it's obviously one of those things that lots of people deal with, and it's about knowing what to do when you have it, and yeah, obviously going to see someone like I did. Honestly, my doctor was so lovely and she really helped me, and whenever she saw that I went to the hospital again, I would get a call from her saying, come and see me, what happened? And it was just really nice. And I don't know, through all that stress and everything, I think I broke out as well. Luckily my spots have completely gone. I had really bad spots here and here, and I don't know, this is a pure guess, but I don't know whether it was because of all the stress from the anxiety. I actually have absolutely no idea, but they've actually gone. It's just left scars underneath, which I need to get microneedled. I mean, she actually saw, my last appointment with her was a few weeks ago, and she saw them and she gave me some cream for it. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please smash a thumbs up if you like these sort of videos. I feel like it's been a while since I've done a sit down one, which is really nice. And yeah, please subscribe because it's free and it means you get notified every single time I post. And I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.